Hello, one and all, and welcome to Behind the Glass, the podcast which aims to take you behind the scenes of the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass, as well as the automotive and social media worlds. I'm your host, Sam, from that YouTube channel Seen Through Glass, and joining me this week is a firm favourite of both Seen Through Glass and this podcast, a man I affectionately refer to as Jon Modball, but is, of course, Jon Bourgerie. I always have to say your name like that.
It sounds great, however you say it.
Thank you so much. I'm just putting on an accent.
I've actually missed you a bit.
Have you? That's one of the nicest things you've ever said.
Really?
I think so. How are you?
I missed you until you dissed my hair.
Well, we did that off camera a little bit earlier in the week when we were having a chat, and I didn't really want to go straight in on the podcast about it, but you do look like a sort of awful 90s boy band wannabe. Is that how you feel?
Well, now I do. I didn't before, but now I do. Dude, this is lockdown. I haven't had a haircut in like 3 months.
It's a thing that I think a lot of people can sympathize with. For those of you who aren't watching us here on YouTube, if you are listening to us only, hello, we love you. But yes, you are missing out on Jon's quite fantastic hairstyle. But as you say, this is the thing. This is 2020. We've all got dodgy haircuts apart from myself because I don't have any hair due to lockdown. How have you been coping with lockdown?
I've actually loved it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, business-wise, it's been an absolute nightmare. But luckily, I'm not going to restaurants and spending money. So you
save a bit of cash.
Yeah. I mean, it's not actually. I'm telling a lie. Business has not been that bad at all, actually, because I think the government have done like a fairly okay job with what they can do. But it's been a nice time in a sense that it's been nice to reset and kind of refocus, and all the noise has disappeared from me. So when you're like super busy, I bet you're even like running around, traveling, all that kind of stuff. It's been nice to not have to do that,
I so know what you mean. It's just to get 2 seconds, just to kind of do all the stuff that you always say, oh, if I get 2 seconds, I'm going to do this, X, Y, and Z. The amount of planning that I've finally been able to do, like touch base with manufacturers and other people that I can make, exciting projects with, which I never feel like I've got the time to do. So how do you feel your day? Are you the kind of person that still kept structure to your day, or have you been waking up at 2 p.m. in your tracksuit bottoms, feeding your gross dogs? Tell me about it.
Do you know what? I've actually got a slip disc in my back. So I've been waking up at 6 a.m. in pain for the last 6 weeks.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Is that because you are now 55 years old?
65.
Sorry. I aged you incorrectly there.
Thanks, another disc. Thanks, mate. That's 2 so far. Like, we're going well.
We're going well. Well, look, I did mention on the intro that you are a bit of a sort of a friend of all of my channels. You've appeared on the podcast a couple of times before. I think most recently collecting your Aston Martin Vantage. Let's come back to that a little bit later in the podcast because I think things maybe didn't turn out exactly as you'd hoped. But you've more recently appeared on my social media, of course, because we bumped into each other during Drive the World in a video that ended up on my members section of the website, but you were plastered all over my Instagram because I found you in Ibiza. Classic Jon.
Yeah. And this time I wasn't your Uber driver for a change.
Yeah.
You forget how nice I am to you, Sam, and then every time I see you, you just diss me.
I never forget, but it's it's like playground. What's it called? Playground flirting. When I treat them mean, keep them keen. That's kind of my attitude here. Even though I'm not flirting with you, Jon, but it was the only way I could explain our relationship. But yes, you're very nice. I mean, a few years ago, I was attending a wedding in Ibiza. My flights got all messed up. I actually got kicked off a BA flight, and Jon came to my rescue and picked me up from the airport because I'd arrived so late and chauffeured me to the wedding. This time round, you spoilt me again by not only treating me to a very nice coffee, but taking me out on a boat. It was amazing.
Yeah, a yacht.
Sorry, not a boat. Sorry, is that talking it down a bit? It was a yacht, was it?
Yeah, I organised a boat, a yacht, whatever you want to call it, and you and your missus. That was cool.
Yeah, it was a fun day out. I really enjoyed it, and a chance to just have a bit of a different pace of a day during Drive the World, which was mental. And at that point, of course, you were sort of planning towards Yacht Ball, wasn't it? That was one of the boats you were looking at potentially to take part in Yacht Ball, which is, how would you call it? Would you call it a sort of sister event from Modball, Yacht Ball, or what is it, a separate event entirely?
Well, if in the current climate, it is non-existent.
Well, sure. I mean, that I wanted to come on to, but But in general, no balls ever. Oh, I tell you what, is that my delivery man? I'm keeping an eye on the window because today I'm expecting like 15 deliveries. So this could be the most interrupted podcast ever. But look, let's get into it. Apart from, the fact that Modball's not happening, I wanted to catch up with you because, excitingly, we've partnered up on one of your new businesses. And I think previously you've spoken on the podcast about the fact that you are a man of many different businesses, an entrepreneur as such, a dragon from Dragon's Den, involved with multiple different things. And you got in touch because this latest kind of project I think is awesome. And in the current climate, I think is perfect. I'm going to stop talking. I'll let you explain it first, and then we can chat some more about why I feel it's so exciting.
Well, basically, a friend of mine who I've known for about 15 years is hugely in the comedy world and events world, organizes festivals, all that kind of stuff. Last couple of months, they've been putting together a project called the Drive-In.Club. And so they've got 2 sites, one at Brent Cross, Northwest London, one in Dagenham. And they've put together the biggest comedy acts in the UK. They've got a host of movies, blockbuster movies, and kids shows and family shows, all this kind of stuff. And I basically decided that I was getting involved with it about a week ago, after lots of conversations, but I'm all in. And so basically, from July the 3rd, we have live events, drive-in events where you can bring your car, your family, your girlfriend, your husband, your grandma, safely for the first time in the UK. And you can watch stand-up comedy, family shows. We're looking at getting music artists and blockbuster films. And one of the things that we're talking about is hosting a live Formula One. And I'm working on it. I promise you, Sam.
It would be the dream.
I'm working on it to get you to host a live Formula One event, which would be, I guess, on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, yeah, just the chance for me to go and stare at F1 on a massive screen, always exciting. But hopefully being able to do it around other F1 fanatics all in our cars so we can all honk our horn when something exciting happens. But I love this because it's basically harking back to the age-old drive-in cinema. Take that sort of concept from what the 60s that was big? I don't know. But anyway, that kind of concept of all turning up to a big parking lot. This is going to be a lot more organized than maybe some old school ones, proper parking spaces that you would have reserved when you bought your ticket. And then, yes, you can watch a show. I mean, a huge amount of it so far, the lineup, comedy acts, as you mentioned, but these aren't just like any comedy acts. Like, we're talking about some of the biggest names in UK comedy, right? I had the lineup somewhere. Do you remember the names off the top of your head? Let me see. I'm gonna bring them up here.
Yeah, we've already got confirmed Bill Bailey, Dom Jolly, who's everyone seems to be a huge fan of Daniel Slots, who's one of my favorite comedians. And the list, they're constantly, there's such a huge team behind this. This is like, normally it's like me at the helm of organizing, but on this, this is putting 400 people back to work. So if you can imagine the size and the scale of these 2 sites, it's like, I'm kind of just, I was, when I got asked to get involved by Brett, I was kind of flattered really. And, being part of something that puts 400 people back to work and creates events safe for people to go out and do something now, I'm quite proud to be part of it, really. So this is way bigger than just me organising an event. This is a huge team. It's on Capital Radio as of the next few days. It's like absolutely everywhere in the press. So it's great to be part of it. And I'm going to be filming for my YouTube, which is beginning at the moment, all the behind the scenes stuff, like the build of this thing, how many people are involved in just building these sites and these stages. We've got like screens that are bigger than Modball's done screens, but these screens are just like insane, so there's going to be a whole journey behind it. And, having you come down and host an event and come to some of the events, it's going to be great fun because it's going to be like me and some of my mates. It's going to feel like a friendly sort of family sort of thing for me. So I'm just excited to be part of it.
For sure. I mean, two things I want to pick up on then. Firstly, you've been around me enough to see what the YouTube life is like. Why on earth you've decided to start a YouTube channel, I do not know. But I'm actually quite intrigued and excited because I know what your life and lifestyle is like with all your business adventures. So fine, I get it. I'll watch. But just what I mean is the behind the scenes. You're a busy enough man already. Why are you deciding to try and start a YouTube channel?
Okay. Good question. It's not like you, like a YouTube channel like you.
Okay.
I have Dainton Lee filming, and it's not like there's going to be like a video every few days. Not anything like that. We're just putting out videos so people can understand. It's not like
what's going on.
Like YouTube is a way of communicating my 6 companies to people, so they can. If you like business, if you're into business at any age, and you want to kind of understand how it works in my industry in particular, events, fitness, all that kind of stuff, then it'll be really interesting because I'll break things down. But I'm also going to be doing a video podcast with like music artists, comedians and stuff like that, because I want to learn stuff from all these people and I want to implement that into my businesses.
Nice.
So the YouTube thing, it's not like I'm going to walk.
You're going to start daily vlogging.
No. I've got Dainton, who was the main guy in Dirty Sanchez. Show my age here. He's going to be filming. He's filmed all the Modball stuff, so he's filming it. I'm not filming it. And then I've got an incredible editor who's editing all the videos. And
it'll be a slick production then, is what you're trying to say. Not like my dodgy, half-assed GoPro filmed videos. Yours is going to be looking legit. I can see what you're saying.
So yeah, when you say why are you doing it, I would never do it because I know how hard YouTubers work. It's insane how hard they work. But having someone to film it and edit it, it's just a case of I'm just kind of doing what I'm doing again.
Just capturing your daily business, basically.
Yeah, and I think it's important to show people, because a lot of people think, they see a ticket for an event and then they turn up and then they go home. This way, people will see how much work goes into it, especially with COVID-19, all the restrictions that we've got and how particular everything has to be. Hopefully, people will appreciate how much work's going into the drive-in.club, and they'll come and buy a ticket.
Yeah, well, let's dive into it a little bit quicker just to clarify for those listening. Firstly, it's important to say that this is a UK-only event at the moment. And am I right in saying the 2 venues are London sort of centric?
Yeah, so Brent Cross, Northwest London.
Yeah.
And Dagenham.
Dagenham, okay. Oh, there goes my WhatsApp. Let me just turn that off quickly so we don't get rudely interrupted. That's a common theme, by the way, with the podcast during lockdown, is I always leave my WhatsApp open and people seem to try and interrupt and get involved. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So yeah, 2 sites, sort of London-centric. But just to go back, it is simple as you can basically buy tickets, I think up to, what's the maximum number of people you can have in a car? 5, 6 people, I guess, if you bring a mini, what's it called? Minivan or something like that. So you get as many people as you can fit in your car, you can buy tickets, turn up, you get an allocated space, and then you can watch the show in, most importantly right now, a COVID safe and friendly way, right?
Exactly. So it depends on the show. The comedy shows is 2 people in a car, and then if you have more people, then it's an additional cost. And that's to do with the way it works for the comedians, because their revenue shares are different. For a movie or a kids show, you can just fill your car, and tickets. Oh, do you hear the thunder?
Yeah, I didn't know what that was. I thought I was breathing too heavily on the microphone. I was like, oh, step back. That was thunder.
We're just adding drama to the tickets. But basically, tickets start at £17.50. And you get your own slot for your car. You can order food on your phone, and they'll bring food to your car. You can sit in the car, or you can sit outside of the car. You can bring chairs. But yeah, it depends on the event. I mean, if people go to the website, the drive-in.club, they'll see how it works. But basically, tickets start at £17.50.
Well, look, as I say, I'm excited because I'm someone, of course, who loves going to entertainment events. I'll be honest, actually, I've only been to a handful of comedy gigs. Definitely went to a live at the Apollo once, I remember that, and I've been to a few out in LA and stuff like that. But I love the concept of this, because I am really missing, for example, going to the cinema or going to a live music concert, things that I used to do pre-lockdown, which I didn't realize how much I'd miss if I couldn't do it. And so at this moment, I think none of us really know when we're going to be able to get back to doing these things. And so this seems like the ultimate kind of way for us car people to not only romanticize about old 60s drive-ins, because that's just cool anyway, but to then also go and enjoy a live entertainment event right now in a safe way, in a COVID safe way, but have fun and have friends. Because the thing which I was thinking, and this is why I jumped at the chance to partner up with you, Jon, on this, is that I could call a few different people, get like 5 cars, we could all convoy down there, park up in our slots next to each other, and you can kind of yell at each other through windows and stuff. So it's like going to a comedy gig with your mates, but as I say, in a kind of way that's safe and productive. So I think it's banging. I think it's genius. And I really hope the F1 thing pulls off. I feel like we teased that a bit too much. I feel like we should have held that back. That feels like a bit of a juicy detail. But you just, you're a man that doesn't hold back on this kind of information.
Well, I mean, we've got the sites for 5 weeks. We might have them for 9, depending on how it all goes. But I'm pretty sure we can have a quick turnaround. We can get the license for an F1 show for sure.
That'll be exciting. Well, everyone will have to stay tuned. Watch out my social medias, obviously Jon's social medias as well, and check out drivein.club. I'll put a link below, of course. You can go and find out information. Check out. But this isn't like a sort of half-assed thing. Like this is big name talent. Big setup, as Jon was sort of teasing. It's going to be fascinating to see kind of the actual production build and the logistics behind putting on such a large-scale event. So for sure, stay tuned. Plenty more to come on drivein.club. But I'm excited. I think it's going to be very cool. But for now, I want to move on to, I guess, what people know you most well for, Jon, or at least on this channel, which is, of course, Modball Rally, because we touched on it briefly, or at least we touched on Yacht Ball, which is now being recalled No Ball, apparently. Because whilst cool events like Driving Club could happen, I don't know when something like the Modball Rally might be able to happen. Have you had any thoughts? Has it been called off for this year entirely? Like, what's going on with Modball?
So Modball UK is currently booked in for September.
Okay.
All we're waiting for right now is a final go-ahead from the hotels, but it's looking very, very, very good. So if people want the details for that, they can follow Modball's Instagram, or mine, or yours anyway, or go on the website. But we're hoping to announce something in the next week or two. Everyone that books on is already set up for it. We're just waiting for the hotel go ahead. With Modball Europe, obviously we had, and being the Monaco Formula One, we've just moved that forward to next May. But the only issue with that is that one was sold out. So we had like maybe about 60, 70 cars on the waiting list. And so that one's moved. But next year, 2021, we'll be doing obviously the May Monaco Grand Prix event, and then in September we'll be doing a new event, new Modball, probably London to Ibiza, which is everyone's favorite route, as the second event. So all the people that couldn't get on this year's one will be able to do a new event.
Oh, nice. Because you know what? It's one of the things that I've really missed this year. Like I was thinking about it. I think lockdown again has just made me think about all the stuff that I would rather be doing. And drive the world aside, I really started looking back at like old photos and videos, and I was thinking, God, right now I would love to be going off on Modball. Obviously, last one we did the route down through to Vienna. So that was a few years ago now, a couple of years ago. Yeah, a couple of years ago now. An amazing time when you bought your Huracan Spider. Didn't you do it in your Huracan Spider? Is that right? Yeah, you did.
I don't want to talk about that. It's like when I crashed into that.
See, I was going to slowly come around to that. I was going to keep it really positive. And then right then be like, didn't you crash it? But yeah, you are a fool, mate. What's that? You still got that car?
I love that. Yeah, I've still got mine.
Is that a keeper for life, or that's just like it's so much fun right now, I'm still really enjoying it?
Honestly, every time I get in that car, obviously everyone goes on Auto Trader. I every night in bed I go on Auto Trader. I just, of course,
what else is there to do? Yeah.
what else would I get? But every time you get in it, you think it's just such a good car. You know,
it's a good car for someone your height.
Thanks, man. No, that's 4 or 3? 3 or 4?
No, but in all seriousness, I can't fit in that car, so I don't enjoy it. I find it uncomfortable. I'm being upfront. I mean, maybe, that's bad for my height. That's, we can see it.
Also, it's convertible and you've got no hair, so it always looks a bit weird when a man with no hair is in a convertible.
Like a giant egg is just floating around in a convertible. Well, as much as you love that car, unfortunately, same probably can't be said for the Vantage.
I don't want to talk about it.
We kind of have to, because as I said last time you appeared on this podcast, we were collecting it and you were the most excited man in the world. What happened?
It didn't last.
Just because the car was...
No, it's a great car, but it's lost so much money.
Yeah, that's always painful.
Honestly, I'm never buying a new Aston Martin again.
But did you not kind of see that coming a little bit?
Not as bad. Okay, let's be real with everyone. I paid £149,500 for that car, and I give it back in September with 9,000 miles, and it's probably worth 85 grand.
Yeah, I mean it's terrifying. It's worse than McLaren. But the problem was the car arguably was overpriced in the first place. It should have been 110 grand. You know, spec'd up. It should have been 95 plus options. But like so many companies, they just got a bit hungry, I think, and decided to ask too much, and it's hit them in the hard place. Because also some of the like finance deals I've heard on that car, like $1,000 in and $1,000 a month, like, you know, or even sometimes less. It's nuts. Yeah. They basically can't give them away, which is a shame because you did enjoy the car, right? Like you did like the car.
But when you lose, okay, so that's the only time I've ever lost that much money on a car, and it won't happen again, obviously. But when you lose that amount of money on a car, you don't enjoy the car.
Okay.
I don't think. I mean, you enjoy it to a certain degree, but in the back of your mind, it's like, this car's lost so much money. What good could I have done with that money? Honestly, that's honestly how I feel about it.
It spoils the fun because, like, a lot of my good memories with my 540C are blighted by, firstly, the electric glitches I had with it, but then the fact that it took forever to sell. And again, I lost a ton of money at a time when Sports Series McLarens were still quite desirable. Now you can pick up a 540C for 80 grand. But back then they were still like, you know, theoretically 130, but trading used McLarens basically impossible. No one wants them, and I feel like maybe with Astons, unless they really come down in price, it's the same thing. No one wants them.
It's true, and I think a couple of years back, everyone was hyped up. Everyone seemed to be like making money out of cars, it seemed, and it was like, you know, I got caught up in it just like everybody else, you know. And I think that car is $1,000 a month for me with the deposit I put in. But I'm looking forward to not having to pay that $1,000 a month, if I'm honest.
Of course, mate.
I'm not going to get anything else. I'm quite happy.
You're just happy. You got the Huracan, and then what? Are you still daily driving the Jeep?
I've only just actually put that back on the road, but I've got a Range Rover that.
Oh, okay,
I've
nice.
25,000 miles in a year on.
Yeah,
so
yeah, you can just schmooze around in.
It's a great car.
This is my big thing at the moment. 5 years ago, I would have called myself an idiot and like been like, "What are you talking about?" But the more time you spend around really quick cars, the more often I want to drive something super comfortable when I'm not in really quick cars. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's because I'm getting old and more grown up, but I just don't always want to have my back being broken and harsh right and like. Maybe it's an age thing more than the fact I'm spending time around these cars. But are you the same? Like, do you want to be in the Range Rover because you just need a bit of comfort every now and again?
Well, I've got a slip disc, so...
Oh, yeah. Of course you do.
The only thing that's comfortable is probably an ambulance with a bed.
Yeah, you need a Zimmer frame. Isn't a slip disc pretty serious? I feel like you should be in... Well, not in hospital right now, but I feel like you should be getting some proper serious medical attention, no?
First of all, you can't go to hospital.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Don't go to hospital. Oh, there's my package. Stay tuned.
Okay.
I hope you didn't say anything rude about me while I was gone.
Yes, I did.
That was your opportunity. You had complete control over the entire podcast. But yes,
I know you'll let it out though.
What are you doing about your slip disc then? Anything at all? Or are you just going to be a man and brave it out?
No, I had an MRI scan last Friday. I've seen an osteopath constantly.
Oh, mate.
Luckily, because of my gyms and stuff, my business partners are...
physio or something?
Yeah, the physios and all that, so they've been helping me out a lot. But it is getting better now.
That's something we haven't discussed actually, is the gyms, because the business that kind of launched whilst I was on Drive the World. So you've got these CrossFit gyms, right? What is it, one in Shoreditch and one in Swindon?
Yes.
How did you get into that?
Well, I was doing CrossFit for like a year and a half, and then I had a Christmas beer with my friend, who I've known for like 12, 13 years in Shoreditch, and he's a personal trainer at Space. And I was like, I'd love to open a CrossFit gym in Shoreditch. And he said, I think Margaret and Tony are looking for someone to get involved. And so I had a look at it. A week later, we had a coffee, and I said, how about this? Make it half CrossFit, half personal training. And we'd have to rebuild the whole thing, knock it down and restart. And they said yes.
Wow.
And it happened.
And do you swear by it? Is CrossFit as, because people get hooked on CrossFit way more than I think normal gym stuff.
Yeah, it makes it fun. Okay. It just makes going to the gym is boring, you know. Unless I mean, some people go and they have a sauna, a steam room, and all that after. But CrossFit is just fun. You train with other people, all different levels. It's just good fun. And
could I do it? I mean, obviously I've got the guns, but I think I'm not the best in fitness. Could I turn up and do it? Because I don't like the group thing because I feel like I'm always going to be the worst.
Let me see your guns.
No, definitely not on camera.
You'd love it. Everybody loves it. That's the thing. So it's not a case of would I love it because I might be rubbish. You'll be good because you're light. You'll be good at all the running and the athletic stuff, right? And the gymnastic stuff. But when it comes to like heavy lifting, the bigger people are good at that, but they're not as good as running. So it's because it's overall, and there's always something that you excel at.
Shoreditch is a bit far for me. Can you open one up in Southwest, please? That can be your third franchise. Yeah, do it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, can't open anything right now because everything's shut.
I was going to say, or could we do a drive? No, that wouldn't work. I was going to say drive-in CrossFit, but that wouldn't really. Don't think that would
drive-in CrossFit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was trying to combine the two ideas. It didn't really work for me, but anyway, that's why I'm not an entrepreneur and you are.
Have you started that Velcro thing? What's it? The Velcro guy?
Mate, don't talk about this publicly.
What was it?
No, don't, mate. Leave it because this is my ticket. This is my Shark Tank Dragon's Den billionaire idea.
You haven't done it though. You talked about it last time.
Silent Velcro.
Silent Velcro. That's a good idea.
Mate, that's my ticket. That's when when I'm really done and I need out, I'll just do silent Velcro and there you go. Billions overnight, mate.
I'm in. I'll invest.
Thank you. Well, look, thank you for taking the time. I know you're hectic and busy getting this drive-in stuff all sorted and set up. As I say, for those of you watching here on YouTube, I will put a link below. For those of you listening, of course, you can just go to drivein.club, but also check Jon's social media, my social media over the coming weeks. We'll be letting you know about where and how you can get tickets. But if you're interested, go and check out that lineup because I think for those of you, especially if you enjoy comedy, but there are a lot more sort of other events, varied events coming up, and fingers crossed, we might be able to pull off some kind of F1 thing, but if it doesn't happen, we'll look into maybe doing it another time. So stay tuned either way.
We will.
Anything else, Jon, that you wanted to touch on apart from your disastrous hair before we call an end to today's lovely episode?
Isn't that bad?
No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's being mean.
No. We've talked about comedians and stuff, but if people, and by the time this goes out in the next couple of days, there'll be even more acts. So if people go to the drivein.club, check out the acts. I'm going to be at most of the events around. So if people are there from this, and just send me a DM in Instagram, and I'll come and try and say hi and thanks for coming and stuff like that. So it would just be great to see everyone. And people that haven't been driving their cars like me and everyone else, I can't wait to drive my car to it. It's just going to be.
That's the other thing. It's just a chance to get out in the cars, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Exciting from that point of view. Anyway, well, look, thank you so much again, as I say, taking the time. Everyone, thank you for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. And if you're listening, keep listening on whatever platform you're following us on. Thank you very much. We will catch up with you very, very soon. Bye-bye.